The event would be a polite way of framing it. Yeah, she was very upset with my pro-life views, let's just put it that way. I asked her, just like I would ask anybody in this campaign, I've asked most people who disagree with me on this, take the case of the pregnant woman who was assaulted. Clarence Thomas brought this up in the Dobbs case. She's assaulted. The unborn child dies as a result. You find me one person in this country.
Today takes 12%, and even that falls short of the program's ever-rising cost. The Congressional Budget Office projects that Social Security's cost will increase by 42% of the next 75 years, as its revenues remain stable. Protecting Social Security requires reining in on the excessive cost growth, and actually means benefit cuts of 23%. Current law requires that Social Security benefits come from within the program, so once fund draw runs dry, Social Security will only be able to pay as much as benefits as it receives in taxes. That will mean a roughly $5,000 cut in annual benefits for a typical retiree, and about $4,000 less for the average disability beneficiary. Congressional Budget Office also stated that as of right now, anyone who is 65 or older will not reach today's Social Security retirement age. That's before the age of money runs out. Also, anyone who is currently below the ages of 57 and 107 today, who is still alive and collecting benefits in 2033, will be subject to benefit cuts. It's also predicted that younger workers have the most to lose in benefits. Because if policymakers fail to act and benefit cuts begin in 2033, the Congressional Budget Office estimates that people born in 1970 will experience a 26% reduction, and those born in the 80s and 90s will receive a 27% reduction. It's preventing insolvency to tax increases. It will require 18% tax rule, and now the Congressional Budget Office says that maintaining Social Security scheduled benefits for the next 75 years would require an immediate increase in Social Security payroll tax from 12 to 17%. This would mean $12,000 in Social Security taxes for the median household that has about $71,000 of income. Adding in Medicare and federal and state income taxes will bring the median household's marginal tax rate to 48%. And the number of Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits increased less than expected last week, pointing to a still tight labor market, while the economy rebounded faster than previously estimated.
Have countries actually succeeded in using this language to defend their laws protecting consumers or workers or the environment?
It's quite infrequent. Less than 5% of the cases where at the WTO where regulations were challenged as illegal trade barriers were upheld under these necessary and legitimacy type tests. So it's very difficult to survive under these particular policy caveats. But as I said, I think it's going to be harder with digital because we have so little regulatory infrastructure and foundation upon which to defend the legitimacy and the necessity of the regulation. So as we're this is a world where we're just beginning to confront the concerns of this. And there are a bunch of laws being considered in Congress that would affect things like digital privacy and monopolistic platform practices that could run afoul of these digital trade rules. I would add on the privacy issues, the language in the USMCA specifically says it must be necessary and proportionate to the risk, which is sort of an even higher threshold to defend future privacy rules. So all of this, look, there's a good reason to consider protecting privacy and protecting the data that is behind privacy for things, as have been said on this panel already, on things like biometrics, on health data, on financial data. There are good reasons to exclude those kinds of personal data from the digital, from the free flow of data and
cash payments. The group of lawmakers suggested the monthly payments be directed to those who need it the most and who will spend it the quickest. The letter also read, many families cannot afford to wait for 8 months between payments to truly build back better. Families need stability and certainty through ongoing relief. But there are some experts that push back on the idea of monthly stimulus checks, arguing that there are better ways to provide relief to struggling Americans and also boost the economy. Representative Ilhan Omar's proposed legislation would dole out regular stimulus checks or guaranteed income through monthly payments of up to $1,200 for adults and $600 for children. Representative Omar pointed to pilot programs in various places across the country that have provided guaranteed income to some Americans. The Congresswoman argued that the United States should become the leader in measuring and safeguarding our people's economic well-being, saying that her legislation would be a start in that direction. The program, if the legislation were to pass, would not immediately begin sending out $1,200 checks to most Americans. Instead, it would create a $2.5 billion grant program to fund pilot guaranteed income programs across the United States. The programs would be studied from the years 2023 to 2027, and then the national program would begin in 2028. Then the legislation would provide $1,200 per month to individuals making less than $75,000 a year. The head of households with an income of up to $112,500 would also receive $1,200 under this program, and $600 would be provided for each minor child. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on guaranteed income programs? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Friends, the keyword for this video is harvest. If you would like to enter the next Walmart gift card giveaway, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below this keyword, which is harvest, and additional keywords of any video of mine that you watch. And do make sure, friends, that you're also subscribed to my channel. Inflation cooling down in the U.S. remains a hot topic among stock market investors as Federal Reserve continues to fight a battle against rising prices in our country. The next set of U.S. CPI data for September is scheduled to be released on October 13th. So this is how the U.S. inflation rose and fell over the last few months. From 8.6% in May, U.S. inflation rose to 9.1% in June, and later fell to 8.5% in July, before settling at 8.3% in August of this year. Many in the market were caught off guard when the U.S. Consumer Price Index increased by 8.3%, more than anticipated in August compared to a year earlier. Core PCE data, the preferred inflation indicator of the Fed, also topped expectations last week. The inflation numbers in August were not as per expectations, thus leading Fed to remain aggressive in its approach to dealing with inflation. Overall, the Fed has hiked rates by 300 basis points in 2022, and according to economists, inflation could be slowing down as demand is seen to be falling. Overall, demand in the economy is slowing, while production is still facing many challenges. Unfilled orders continue to rise as the industrial sector continues to face supply chain disruptions and shortages